Hey everyone, I'm Rather Coherent, back with more Path to Carcosa. Today we're taking on the fourth scenario, the Unspeakable Oath. And before we start doing anything here, let's talk about the deck upgrades. As always, when we talk about Jenny, it's going to take a little bit more time than it ever rightly should. Her deck upgrades right now seem strange and wrong and hard to explain. The next big upgrade for Jenny is to get the red clock and use Eldritch Sophist to stall it out. But to do that properly takes a lot of experience, and we didn't get very much last scenario. Likewise, it also needs 3 level 0 cards swapped in, and Hawkeye Folding Camera is one of those swaps, so I just chose to upgrade the deck as much as I could for this scenario. I cut Milan Christopher for Lola Santiago because I think I'll have enough money. I upgraded my emergency caches because if I'm going to be using double-double on an emergency cache, I would like to draw 2 cards. And with the free flex slot that Milan gave me, I'm running a Burning the Midnight Oil because it's a great double-double target, giving me free action investigates that generate money. To get all this stuff in the deck, I cut Unexpected Courage, which allows me to run Gios for yet more stat pumps. And we're starting to get to the nightmare that Jenny can really be. She's not quite there yet, but she's actually pretty monstrous. Now, as always, going over to Lily Chen, it's much simpler. I got Cyclopean Hammer. Like an adult. I don't know what the fuck Jenny is doing. So, let's get into the game. I've done all the setup, including the Return 2 stuff, which really just changes this Act deck, so it'll probably be what causes the Host of Insanity over here to come out, but we'll get there when we get there. In Agenda 1A, we're locked inside. The patient wing of the asylum is far quieter and lonelier than you had expected. The hall reeks of chemicals and body odor. As soon as you are escorted inside, the doors behind you are closed and locked tight. And Arkham Asylum, Act 1A. Aside from the few patients giving you a wide berth, there aren't any orderlies or doctors around to speak with. It looks like you'll have to find a Mr. Chesterfield on your own. The doom threshold is only 2, things are going to get wild and out of control real fast. And we have to get 6 clues to advance to the next act. Skulls are -1, and if you fail, we'll be setting monsters beneath the act deck. Not sure what that'll do off the top of my head. -X, and X is the amount of horror on you on Cultist, which is what we have, so that's potentially quite scary. And we don't have tablets or squids, so we don't have to worry about this. Now, as for our start position, we can choose an Asylum Hall's location. We can't actually go up to Garden yet, so I'm just going to start at the right and go right. Can't go down the basement either, and then start sweeping across the building from left to right. Something I've realized, though, is that I probably want to prioritize upgrading Safeguard on Lily next, because if Jenny's going to be walking around with 5, even 7 actions eventually, I probably don't want to waste my time walking on Lily if I can avoid it. But that's for later. For now, let's get into the mulligans. Hawkeye Folding Camera is great off the top. These cards are better later. It feels wrong to mulligan Easy Mark and Emergency Cash as big money, right? Like, they replace themselves and generate money. It seems completely fine to keep them. But I'd rather look harder for double-double, I guess is the problem. Not quite so hard that would toss a Hawkeye Folding Camera, but pretty damn hard. Alright, so we don't draw any of those weaknesses, and we do draw double-double. Things looked bad at first and got substantially better. So, Jenny's going to pop off this game, is what I'm hearing. And for Lily, none of you are named Cyclopean Hammer. Get out of here. And yes, that is actually how hard I'm thinking about this. None of those were a weapon. All of them can go. And she completely failed to hit anything of value, but that's why we have Prepared for the Worst always under our stick to the plan. Because sometimes you miss. Oh, and let's review our location real quick. Action, take 1 horror, evade. Automatically evade a lunatic enemy at this location. No clues, 3 shroud. We can't go down to the basement because it's locked. And we can't leave because we're an asylum. You can't just leave an asylum. And on the subject of not being able to leave, if you don't know, this is one of the few scenarios in the game where failure is just death. You're locked away in the asylum and you go insane. So there's actually a lot of pressure to not screw around with the Green Man Medallion this time and actually win. So, first action, I'm going to go with Lily. I'm going to play Prepared for the Worst. I'm under my stick to the plan for 1 resource. Going to search the top 9 of my deck. And miss Cyclopean Hammer by 1. Brutal. Is there a Dragon Pull? Yes. That's fine. I can live Dragon Pull. Next turn, I can use Ever Vigilant to get this into play, so I'm not doing too badly. As my second action, I'm going to use Stand Together to give us both 2 resources. And I'm actually just going to draw a card, because I could, theoretically hit my Cyclopean Hammer and not need to waste time setting up a Dragon Pull. The awkward thing with Jenny is that though she does have double-double, she doesn't have anything that draws cards yet. So she's kind of got nothing, weirdly enough. I think you're safe on turn 0. All the enemies are set aside until the agenda progresses. So I'm going to walk over here to the infirmary as my first action. 3 Shroud, 2 Clues, heal 1 damage and take 1 direct horror, or vice versa, limit once per round, but Victory 1 means we need to get all these clues. Unfortunately, I'm not really able to do that just yet. I'm going to draw a card as my second action. And that looks promising for next turn, so I'm going to play double as my last action. No enemies, Upkeep Phase. Ginny gets easy mark, and with black market, it's looking like she's about to be online. And nothing really changes over here for Lily. 1 of 2 Doom, and Mythos cards. Did I shuffle this? I have no recollection if I did. I clearly did not. Hidden card for Ginny. Peril Hidden. Secretly add to my hand. I cannot trigger action abilities on locations. And I can randomly choose an enemy to place it beneath the act deck to get rid of this, but so far I don't see any reason to use it, so I'll just keep this in my hand for a while. And Maggot Swarm here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take 1 attack opportunity from the Maggot Swarm. My first action, I'm going to play Ever Vigilant, tapping my Stick to the Plan again. I don't know why it doesn't ready during Upkeep. He's going to attack me immediately for 1. And it's only 1 action, so I only get hit once. Play Dragon Pole for 2. Tetsuo for 2. Actually, do I want to play Brother Xavier instead? I reduced that twice, didn't I? I can't quite play Tetsuo and Brother Xavier. I'm going to play Brother Xavier instead of Tetsuo and Scrying for free. Oh wait, I actually can't play Brother Xavier because I have to save resources to play a Talisman of Protection, which is fast, so it doesn't trigger an attack opportunity, and that puts my Dragon Pole online, which is good because we're going to start shopping. We're swinging at 2, 6, 7 because of my discipline, and -1, I do not fail. Maggot Swarm dead. Oh, I was supposed to play Black Market at the start of the investigation phase. I'm never going to remember that. It's going to take me so long. Cost 1 resource as well. Got 2 backstabs, Leo, counter espionage, and well connected. Well, there are assets in there I would like to play, but I can't afford them. So it looks like I'll be doubling my easy mark just to get Leo out of there, as well as the well connected. There's nothing over there that would ever want to be played by Lily. Well, she might theoretically want Leo, but that's not happening. Anyway, back to Lily's turn. To end her turn, I don't see any reason to spend 2 actions. Going this way, I think Ginny can get all this and get out relatively easily. I'm just going to gain a resource, because I'll need it to replace this with Cyclopean Hammer later, because I absolutely will, given the choice. Now, on this turn, I'm going to play Easy Mark immediately for my first action to gain 2 resources and draw a card. And without any better alternatives, I will be doubling the Easy Mark. I'm going to use most of my resources to buy this Leo and get my 4th action. And I'll play this Deep Knowledge to draw cards that are not the ones being shown to me. Alright, those are good cards. I feel pretty comfortable with the cards I see. And I think if I just buy this well-connected, I'll be in a great spot. Eventually. I just need to focus on playing a lot of economy cards next time, which with the black market shouldn't be too hard. And I swear to God, Lily will eventually make up for the fact that she's doing nothing. Or Ginny, rather. Gonna get their names backwards forever. Upkeep Phase. Another Tetsuo and Green Man Medallion. Let's figure out who's gone. It's very easy to toss Money Talks. It does nothing now. When it comes online, it'll be irrelevant. It's probably Deep Knowledge. My hand's pretty full right now. And I've got a lot of economy cards that I would double to just gain the resources over it that would also draw cards. Easy Marks and my upgraded emergency caches. So I think that's the discard that I'm comfortable with. So, top of the round, agenda progresses. Speaking with the patients is proving more difficult than you'd assumed, especially because you aren't actually talking to them, you just keep buying shit and they don't know where you found this black market at. They eye you cautiously and refuse to answer any of your questions, backing away or fleeing if confronted. Either they're not used to guest, or something about you is causing them a considerable amount of distress. It could be all the criminals and bladed weapons, that could be alarming them. Some act like animals backed into a corner, and you think at any moment they might strike. I shuffle the encounter discard pile and each of the set-aside lunatic enemies into the encounter discard pile, and the lead investigator must randomly choose an enemy from the set-aside monster enemies and place it beneath the act deck without looking at it. So, all of this gets put together. I'm going to call this scenario card location beneath the act deck. And the next agenda, Agenda 2A, is Torturous Descent. The longer you spend in this hellish place, the more you want to leave. Already it's felt like days. You fear that if you are here much longer, you become like the patients, a husk of your former self, unruly and dangerous. 7 Doom Threshold. So, evil cards. Walls closing in. Test Brain X, where X is the shroud value or location. I believe that is 3 for us. If you fail, you must either take 1 horror point for each point you failed by, or randomly choose 1 enemy to place beneath the act deck. Can't really do anything to make this better for myself. I can commit counter espionage for its head icons, which would normally sound outrageous to me, but I actually think it's right here because I'm not going to be able to play this counter espionage for a long, long time anyway. So yeah, I'll commit that to be at 5-3. Skull is -1. That's a pass. Get out of here. And for Lily, test Brain X. X is the shroud value of your location, which is 3. If you fail, lose 1 action and take 1 horror. Unfortunately, she's only at 4 brain. Haven't found Holy Rosary or the money to play Xavier. And doesn't really have anything to protect yourself from this with. I could throw Talisman at it. Since Skull and Cultist are -1, I'm just going to take the test straight. And Talisman would affect that anyway. I will take 1 horror and lose 1 action. Start of the investigation phase. This stuff shuffles back into my deck. So, interestingly, Black Market goes away at the start of the investigation phase and begins at the start of the investigation phase, which I think means that I'm allowed to play this one before I shuffle the other one back. In the future, I'll be doing it that way, but I honest to God don't know what I just shuffled back in, so I can't really do it here. Now, Jenny's going to need to get these clues at some point. And Black Market's going to be a part of that because I need to generate some money. And it looks like I've hit exclusively cards that don't generate money. I'm pretty sure my deck is filled with cards that I would love to double-double right now. Which is unfortunate, because if I double-double Black Market, I'll have to play them straight. But I think it's still the right play. Because there's nothing in my hand that's usable right now, so I will double-double the Black Market. Hitting another weakness, an easy mark, emergency cash level 2, emergency cash level 2, and a backstab. So out of this, there are a couple cards that I'd be willing to play. Not as many as I would have liked to see. But I will be playing both of these emergency caches for sure. To go up 3 resources and draw a card. And then go up 3 more resources and draw another card. Which gets me my last easy mark, so I'll play an easy mark for 2 resources and draw a card. And then I'll reaction play this easy mark for 2 resources and draw a card. I can hold this hot streak to double-double it and get my economy actually stable next turn. I desperately need to get my book value online, but I would much rather play Lola than Dario. So I'm going to play this Lola from the board for 3. I don't have the money right now to actually use her ability on a 3-shot location. I'm just not really online yet. So that'll be it for this round. On Jenny. On Lily. I am going to move left. I'm acting under the assumption that Jenny can just well connected and get out of an enemy engaging her if she happens to draw one. But also that the most likely enemy to be drawn is probably something like Fanatic, which I can spawn somewhere else if I just reveal a new location. 3 Shroud, 2 Clues. Each lunatic here gets +1 horror value, which is scary, but not the biggest problem in the world. I think I'm actually going to gain 2 resources so I can play Brother Xavier and work towards something else. That's ridiculous. I'm going to play the emergency cash that's under my stick to the plan. And then I'm going to just play the Brother Xavier that's under me. Alright, that's the round. No enemies are alive. Upkeep phase. Let's see what I have to discard over here. The second well-connected is obviously useless. Every single card in my hand hurts to discard here. I think the one that hurts the least is burning the Midnight Oil. I'm not sure if it's the right call, though. I don't agree with that. I can't agree with that. I'll just leave Dario out for a while, it feels like. I think the one that hurts the least is Hawkeye Folding Camera. I would have liked to set it up on turn 1, but alternatively, I'll just never use it at all, I guess. And on Lily's end, we draw yet more assets that aren't the Cyclopean Hammer. Top of the round, 1 of 7 Doom, and Evil cards. I can either attach the Sign Impostor to the current agenda or act, Oh no, I have to. And then each time an investigator takes one or more horror, they take an additional horror. Terrifying. So I'm just choosing which one I'm going to progress it with, and I'm definitely going to pick Act, because once you progress one of these, don't remove anything attached to it, like the Sign of Hastur, and this takes 6 turns, this probably takes much less. Hidden card. Visions in your mind, Hatred. I have to do a draw action to not take the direct damage or horror. Not a big deal. Basically, incredible softballs there. I would like to stall this until I progress the Act, though. Alright, picking up where I left off, I believe that I just finished drawing evil cards. Investigation phase starts. All of this goes back into the deck. And Lily doesn't really have anything that she's being pressed to do right now. Without a Holy Rosary, I can't rely on her to investigate with Sixth Sense, unless it's only 2 Shroud. Which, unfortunately, it is more than. However, putting a Sixth Sense into play as 2 actions, one to gain the resource and one to play it, isn't bad. It will give one more fist to my Dragon Pool. And I definitely don't need a second Talisman. And then I'll just gain another resource in my last action because there's nothing to kill. Can't help with clues right now. And I don't have any money to play anything that I might hypothetically get to improve my situation anyway. Although, last action, let's not gain a resource. That seems wholly unnecessary. Let's scry to make sure that the cards we get from the encounter deck aren't actually too bad for us. You have to look at the top 3. So the problem here is that all of these cards have Surge. So this just all goes to Jenny no matter what. Kind of doesn't matter what I do. So I'll just make sure to give her only this to split up who's taking the damage, I guess. On a Jenny's turn, knowing that I'm having to take a brain test, I care a lot about playing Gios this round. And I also care a lot about investigating. So first action, I'm going to play Gios for 2. And I have to make a promise when I play Gios. It's not a spell, it's just a thing. And my promise is that I will not commit cards to skill test. If I break this promise, I have to completely fill the bag with curse tokens. But I don't intend on ever breaking that promise. It's why I've been slowly removing all the skills from my deck. So now I just have +1 to all my stats. And I'm going to play Burning the Midnight Oil. Actually, I would like to play Daria, but I don't think I have the real opportunity to right now. I think I need to get these clues and get out of here, and I'm currently investigating at 5, which is good enough, hopefully. I'm going to tap double on Burning the Midnight Oil to investigate twice, gaining 2 resources each time at 5 to 3. Cultist. -0, I get the first one, and the second one from double. -1, I get both of them. This is the whole reason Burning the Midnight Oil gets to stay in the deck. And I think for the rest of my actions, I'm just going to zip over to where Lily is, because I want to be safe before he draw enemies. I know I'm not this turn, but I can't go down anyway. So I just want to get to where she is and start being closer to her. I'm going to have to do this eventually, and nothing I can play this round has any positive impact now over later. Upkeep Phase, we get a Counter Espionage and Jenny, and Promise of Power and Lily. Those are both quite good. We're at 207 Doom, and our evil card is, unsurprisingly, Bleeding Walls. We're going to test Brain 3. Actually, I should have went to a location where I knew the Shroud value was low. Yeah, that's a good joke. They're all 3s. There's literally nothing but 3s. So I'm testing 5 to 3. Actually, no, I'm testing 4 to 3 because I just have the Gios. I can't commit nothing to this. I could Counter Espionage it. Counter Espionage is drawing me a card and preventing me from losing an action. Is an action worth 4 resources? There's no chance. I'll just take the test. Curse token into -1. Because I failed on a skull, I randomly choose an enemy from the set-aside monster enemies and place it without the deck, or underneath the deck, rather. So now we have a second one over there. And I'm going to take 1 horror, by which I mean my good friend Lola's going to take 1 horror, and lose an action. But we do get to remove a curse token, so that's something. And on Lily's evil card, we're going to get Maddening Delusions and take 1 horror. We're going to put that on Xavier. Copied the wrong thing there. Then it's going to surge into Dance the Yellow King, but there are no lunatics in play, so this is going to surge into Straitjacket. Put Straitjacket into play in your threat area. As an asset that takes up a body slot and 2 hand slots. Return each asset in those slots to your hand. This card cannot leave play except by the below ability. 2 actions, discard Straitjacket. Since Lily doesn't have anything she needs to be doing right now, like the 3 cost sucks, but technically that's acceptable. this is my threat area now, and the dragon pole goes back to my hand. On Lily's turn, I spent 2 actions getting rid of the straitjacket, and 1 action getting a resource to replay my dragon pole. So, for Jenny's turn, which will hopefully be more productive, I'm going to go up to the yard. Actually, I can investigate where I'm currently at. And I have enough resources now that if I play Dario Alamen, he will actually give me benefits. I'm going to play Hot Streak and double it to gain 10 resources. It's only level 2, otherwise I'll be gaining 14. I'm going to spend 3 resources playing the Black Fan, which gives me my last action, because at 15 resources when you get your additional action from it. And now with my last action, I will actually investigate this properly. -4. If I had 20 resources, I would have passed that, but I don't quite have the Black Fan yet, so just a failed check. Upkeep Phase. Jenny gets a Burning the Midnight Oil, which is fantastic. Lily got, like, a card. It's fine. Top of the round. No enemies. Gain 1 Doom and evil cards. Walls are closing in. I test Brain X, where X is my trial value, which is 3. If I fail, I take 1 horror for each point I fail by, or I put a monster under the deck. Well, this time I have a base of 3, 4, 5 instead of... It's still not great. But Lily is here, and while I can't commit skills, she can. I'll go up 2 with a Guts. Not that I needed it, but hey, it'll cycle her closer to Cyclopean Hammer. Or her weakness. I'll flip over her Brain ability. Yeah. Oh, she's probably triggered this, hasn't she? Oh yeah, definitely. Which means she takes 1 damage and 1 horror, and then she takes an additional horror because this is attached to our act deck. So that additional horror, however, is not direct, and I'll use it to kill Tetsuo. With Tetsuo's ability, I'm going to search the top 9 for Cyclopean Hammer, which was my next card, apparently. Now we'll take Lily's Evil card, which is a Mad Patient. It spawns in the nearest Asylum Halls, which is, wouldn't you believe it, where we're at. Pray most remaining sanity, and when you attack Mad Patient, take 1 horror. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a weapon yet. However, because it's spawning here, and it can go to either of us and we get to decide, and I'm going to put it on Jenny. Jenny, everything's going to be fine, trust me. I spend my first 2 actions gaining resources, and then I play the Cyclopean Hammer. Good luck, Jenny. Jenny's job, by the way, is to evade at a lot. She's evading at 3 from Well Connected, 6 from herself, 7 from Lola, 8 from Gias. Shouldn't be that hard to not be in a bad spot here. Yeah. So we'll just kill this man next turn. Next action, I have how much book again? 1 million? Cool. I'm going to play Burning the Midnight Oil to investigate. I'm investigating at 7 to 3. Skull is fine, and I will tap double to do it again. And auto-fail. But I'll get 1 of the clues, and I will keep smashing my head into this until I get something less than -5. There we go. I'm actually going to draw a card, just looking for more stuff that's helpful. That wasn't. I have consistently and only hit drawing the sign when it was on my last action. I'm going to play Green Day Medallion and tap it just to... Like, obviously it's good to do, but I'm also just trying to avoid getting hurt by drawing the sign too much. Whew. All right. Upkeep Phase. This is going to ready and engage. Does it have a Prey? The bad news is this has Prey, so I wasn't allowed to pick who it engages with. The good news is it does engage with Jenny anyway, and it will do it again. That second part is bad news, but I'm glad I didn't cheat. So, Upkeep, I have to discard a card because of drawing the sign. I would like to hold Backstab, and Counter Espionage, and Intel Report. These are all very good cards. I'm going to toss Backstab and believe in Jenny, or in Lily, rather. Someday I'll get their names right. I absolutely did not play for Cyclopean Hammer last turn. Top of the round, 4 of 7 Doom, evil cards. The walls are closing in. I'm testing 3 Brain again. 3, 4, 5, 6. That seems fine to me. Don't need to commit to that. Skull, minus the horror roll me. That's nothing. Pass. I need to discard 3 costs worth of events. That's easy. Goodbye, Azure Flame. All right. There's no time pressure at all here, it feels like. Things feel thoroughly under control right now. As Lily, I'm going to engage, then swing. Just to make sure I don't auto-fail and basically put Jenny on a spiraling path to death. I'm going to move up to see what's in the yard. While you're investigating the yard, it gets +1 trial for each horror on you, and if there are no clues here, take 1 damage to remember that you incited a fight amongst the patients. That seems pretty easy for Ginny to come sweep. First 2 actions, I'm getting rid of drawing the sign. Then Ginny's going to walk up and just investigate twice. Oh wait, no, I would never do that. I'm going to spend a resource to get one of the clues for free with Lola. And then I'm going to investigate normally. -1 is an easy pass. And I'm going to draw a card. I would like to hang out with Lily for a turn. No enemies alive, upkeep phase. Sacrificial beast spawns, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It can spawn in any of these end locations. We're going to put it in the direction we're actually going. Upkeep for Lily. Spectral Razor is nice to have. Top of the round, 5 of 7 Doom. And we're going to draw our encounter cards. We get another mad patient with Jenny, who's going to spawn in the asylum halls beneath us. It doesn't have Hunter, so we don't have to deal with it, but it seems easy enough to deal with. So I had to put Sign of Hastur on the other act now, and if you take horror, you're taking 3. That's sketchy as hell. The good news, though, is that this one will only be around for 2 turns, and this one's leaving this turn, so it's not actually a big deal. I'm going to start this turn as Lily, and I'm going to progress the act immediately by spending all of Ginny's clues. So Ginny's clues are gone, and the act says... Turning a corner, you nearly bump into a nurse with light brown hair and sharp features. You tell her about the violent patients and the strange things you've seen, but she doesn't listen. When you inquire about Daniel, she informs you that he's a patient of Dr. Mintz, and that he resides in the secured basement level. Unfortunately, she refuses to let you into that area of the asylum. The investigators must decide, choose one. An investigator tests 4 fists to intimidate her into giving you the keys. If successful, advance to Act 2A. If failed, choose a different option, and then I can choose 4 foot instead, or 4 book instead. Or I can take the keys by force if I can't get through any of these things. So basically, I'm just trying to take a test to avoid taking the keys by force. I get to try all 3. Jenny has a lot of stats. She has 6. She has 6 in 2 of the stats and 5 in 1 of them. So I'm going to test 5 fists first, hoping to fail. I pass immediately. I was hoping to get curse out of the bag, but yeah, it looked like there was only 1 curse anyway. So yeah, we just get through that immediately. Easy. Act 2A, the really bad ones, version 3. Daniel is somewhere in the secured basement where the most dangerous patients are kept. Now that you have the key, you can explore this area of the asylum. Ignore the text on the unrevealed side of Arkham Asylum locations. Our new objective is to find the patient confinement location with Daniel Chesterfield. You will be instructed when to advance. So, like I said, I'm starting this round on Lily. I'm going to start a fight. I don't know what that does, can't remember for the life of me, but it sounds cool. I'm going to move down and swing with my hammer at 1,000,000 to nothing and kill this man. Ginny's going to move twice to the mess hall. Do I have a backstab? I don't. I can't actually keep going this way. Well, hopefully it has something to do here. After you successfully investigate the mess hall, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. I don't want to investigate this anymore. I can definitely just intel report all the clues here for 8. But if I'm doing that, I would like to draw some cards that, you know, give me money. Oh, do I even want to draw the second card anymore? I mean, yeah, because I don't want to do anything else in my turn. Cool. I'm going to double an intel report, dropping me down to 15 resources. And I'm just going to take all of these clues real quick. Speaking of, how many clues do we need? Oh, we don't even have a clue objective right now. We're just looking for patient confinement. I'm probably just getting victory over here. That's fine by me, really. Enemy phase, they don't move. Upkeep phase. Ginny gets a backstab. That's great. Lily gets an accursed follower. Every single location is 2 from her. I'm going to put it down here. It's where she wants to go. And top of the round, 6 of 7. Oh, this one is discarded because we progressed that act. And evil cards. Hidden card. If I don't play a card on Ginny, then I'm going to take direct horror and damage, which I'd rather not because it'll be 2-1. But I've got allies to soak the additional damage, so I guess it's not the biggest deal. And on Lily, we get another mad patient. It'll spawn with her. So for Lily's turn, I'm going to kill this man, like I have been doing. I'm going to move twice because I can get through the locked door on the basement now. And after the basement hall is revealed, put the 4 set-aside patient confinement locations into play. Okay, so he's in one of these cells, and Lily will get to that in a little bit. For now, Ginny's going to keep looking for victory points. She's going to walk in here and deal with her sacrificial beast. I'm debating if I wanted to double a Faustian bargain before doing that or after, and it's definitely after. The +1 to stats is not worth the massive cost of... it's probably worth doing. Before I move in, I will double a Faustian bargain. And then I'll move in. So we're up to $27, but also we're adding 4 curses. And this will give me more from my well-connected and more from the Black Fan. Now that I'm here, I'm going to backstab. For 3. My current foot value is 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 4 is 10 to 4. Easy game, it's dead. I literally can't use Faustian Bargain. That's what that creature does. I got a -1. Cool, that kills it regardless. The only thing I need to do is remove 1 resource because I shouldn't have gotten that at the start of the round. Nothing involving well-connected even mattered. I killed it with my base value of 6. Anyway, the kitchen's unlocked. We can ignore that stuff. We have the keys. Apparently we have 2 sets of keys. I'm not going to worry about how that works. There are no clues in the kitchen. Test 2 brain. If you succeed doing that, you set a fire in the kitchen. Guess I'm going to have to toss this card then. I really don't want to toss this card. I don't know what putting monsters under the act does, but it seems like a bad thing. First, though, we're going to investigate twice. We're investigating at 7 to 2. Get the first clue. Get the second clue. We'll worry about setting fires in the kitchen next time. Okay. No hunter enemies. Upkeep phase. Man in the Pallid Mask is going to spawn down here. And nothing relevant happening with Lily. 7 of 7 Doom. We get rid of this other sign of Haster. And we progress the agenda. In the back of your mind, a force beckons. Have you seen it? It calls to you. Glimpsing something in your peripheral vision, you turn and find a familiar symbol peering back at you wherever you look. It's etched upon the doors, drawn on the walls, painted on the patient's canvases. You cannot escape it. The lead investigator must randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monster enemies and shuffle it into the encounter deck without looking at it. And Constance is dead, so we don't care about her. We have Agenda 3, Flee. Flee while you still can. 8 Doom, when you place an enemy beneath the act deck, shuffle that enemy into the encounter deck instead. Well, shuffling an enemy into the encounter deck actually doesn't scare me at all. So I'll go first. Oh, wait, I should probably draw from the encounter deck, though. So, let's draw our evil cards. Young Lunatic, or Young Psychopath, rather. It doesn't have Hunter, it's on a dead end of the map. I'll give it +3 fight, and I'm just going to evade it. Cloud of Memory, Peril, choose one. Forget something an investigator has remembered from an ability on a location, or take 1 horror and it gains Surge. That's a bit much, but I'll take 1 horror and it gains Surge. I would like to keep the keys. Okay, let's start with Jenny, because she's the one that matters. I have not even been taking this, because I've been thinking about other things. It's probably for the best, because I kind of don't have a super stable amount of resources until this turn. Been trying to stay above 20 for the Black Fan, and I've also gotten most of the experience I need out of Green Man Medallion by this point as well. But I would like to tick it up the remaining 7 possible times to get 4 experience out of it. So first things first, we're going to tap Well Connected and evade this man. We get +5 to our base of 3, 4, 5, 6, so 11 to 3. Yeah, unsurprisingly, that passed. Honestly, tapping Well Connected probably isn't worth it. I'm going to get rid of this by shuffling a monster into the encounter deck. And I'm going to take an action to remember that I set a fire in the kitchen, which requires me to test 2 brain. I have, again, a load of brain. I'm up to 6 base. Easy. Then I'm going to move twice towards the prisoners. Oh, there should be more curses in the bag, because I'm just forgetting what accused follower, or a cursed follower, like I always do. Going to engage and swing at this man so I can stop forgetting about him. Easy kill. And I don't feel like I'm actually able to get a clue here. Just going to play Tetsuo for this round. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. End of the phrase, upkeep. No hunter enemies are alive. Take a horror on Jenny, by which I mean a horror on our good friend Dario. Upkeep over here as well. Spectral Razor is always good to see. This man will ready as well, but he's not hunter, so it will never matter. 1 of 8 Doom. Oh, let's imagine I did this like I was supposed to. And evil cards. Hitting card. Oh, did this one go off? I did not play anything last round, so I take 1/1. There are no signs of Haster in play to affect that. I'm not sure this one will ever go off. I'm going to be moving a lot. We get a Maniac here, so we both take 1 damage, which I mean Xavier takes 1 damage and he takes 1 damage. I'm going to go second with Lily, because Jenny's the one who can actually open doors. Jenny's going to move twice to start her turn. I'll open the door with the Man in the Paladin Mask first by paying 1 clue. Test Brain X here, where X is the amount of horror on you. If you succeed, you recognize the room. Remember that you recalled the way out. I'm testing Brain 1 to do that. That seems pretty easy. I'm going to test Brain 1. I have a brain value of 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 to 1. I remembered the way out. I'm going to try to investigate a 4-shroud location to kill the Man in the Paladin Mask. I'm only at 7 to 4, so we'll tap Well Connected to be at 11 to 4. 9 to 4, 7 to 4, 5 to 4. Get out of here. Man in the Paladin Mask is defeated. Put a tick mark under Chasing the Stranger. And I'm going to move back because there's nothing left to do in that room as my last action. And I will tap the little ticker here to get more stuff. I don't think I really need to double my Faustian bargain. That's nonsense. Of course I do, right? Because, like, I can do it next round. I don't have to do it this round. For Lily, I'm going to swing at it took no damage last round. This should be reset. Probably reset a long time ago, and I just hadn't noticed it. Anyway, my current brain and fist value are 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm swinging at 10 to 3. That is 3 damage. Get out of here. I'm going to draw looking for Holy Rosary, I think. Because without Holy Rosary, I'm failing on Cultist. And what I'm referring to is I'm failing to investigate with 6th Sense on Cultist. Hey, we finally hit it. Upkeep Phase. Let's discard some cards. We don't need these Dragon Pulls. That is very apparent. And Upkeep for Jenny. Emergency Cash 2 is nice. It's a good double target. I don't want to put curses at this point. 2 of 8 Doom. Discard 4 cost of assets. So assets are just cards in general. Well, if you're going to make me discard it, I'll just play the Counter Espionage for 4. And I will discard this and draw a card from my deck instead. Cool, it was drawing the side. Here I thought I was going to avoid drawing a bad card. Young Psychopath, I'm just going to give this thing 5 fists because I'll still kill it in 1 hit. It won't matter. As Jenny, I'm going to go first. There's been 2 actions to toss drawing the sign. I'm going to double this emergency cash. I'm going to go into this patient confinement. Forced after patient confinement is revealed, advance to Act 2B. Well, that's interesting. Oh, this is the one with the patient in it. I wish it had some flavor text mentioning that I found Daniel. When you enter his cell, you find Daniel huddled in a corner of the room, sobbing and rocking back and forth on the ground. No mask. No mask. He stammers over and over. You help him to his feet and ask him what he remembers about the King in Yellow, but he interrupts you. I already told you, he exclaims frantically, his eyes wide with a yellow glow. Don't you remember the last time you came here? His words make no sense. You've only just arrived here, haven't you? No. The man stammers, falling backward onto the dirty cot in the corner of his room. It'll never end. It'll never end until he is gone for good. And he will never be gone so long as you are here. Get me out. I want out. Daniel screams for help, but the only response is the creature that suddenly emerges from beneath his cot. Before you can react, its tendrils have wrapped around his body, devouring him whole. His final screams are muffled by the creature's enormity. Spawn the set-aside Host of Insanity at Patient Confinement, Daniel's cell. Shuffle the encounter deck and each enemy beneath the act deck into the encounter deck. If all these do is go in the encounter deck, am I even scared of them? Like, are they victory point enemies? Should I want them in here, or are they just obnoxious? Oh, one of them was the Beast of Aldebaran. That's impressive. But yeah, it looks like they're kind of not threatening, and not worth victory points either. Alright, they're totally threatening. But compared to what Lily's doing, not threatening. Anyway, this thing has spawned in Daniel's cell. Is it massive? It is, so it's not going to be engaged with us. It's 4/4/4, massive hunter. It gets +4 health. If you control the class of Black Onyx, parlay. You reveal the class of the creature. It freezes in place, whispering a garbled prayer. Automatically evade Host of Insanity. I believe I forgot to put Class of Onyx into my deck. Because I'm pretty sure I've cycled Jenny's deck and not seen it. However, I'm not too upset about it, because that doesn't matter at all. That is actually useless. Also, since this is specifically summoned when you find Daniel, it's weird that it's shown attacking a woman. seems like it would be a man since the story scenario is specifically for attacking a man, but whatever. Now that it's here, I guess I'm just going to evade it. Using well connected because I don't have any tests left in the round because I'm going to leave. And yeah, that's a pass, right? I have a million base and I'm getting +5. That's definitely a pass. So it's exhausted. And I was like, hey, Lily, it's bad in there. So Lily's going to kill this, walk in there, and start beating the other one to death. -2, -4 brings me from my base of 10 down to 6, which is actually only 2 damage. Not that it mattered because that guy only had 2 health. I thought it had 3. Next action, I'm going to walk in. Third action, I'm swinging at 10 to 4 against Host of Insanity. Skull is a -1. That is 3 damage. End of the round, enemy is exhausted. Upkeep phase, it readies. I don't need this scrying. I'm very confident about that statement. Easy mark is nice. I've been moving so that hidden card does not trigger. 3 of 8 doom. Let's imagine I use the clicker like I was supposed to. We get a maniac for Jenny. She takes a damage. No, that would be ridiculous. Stereo takes a damage and the maniac takes a damage. And Lily gets the Sign of Hastur. Oh, I never read our new act by summoning that monster. Planning the escape. With or without Dan, you have to get out of here as soon as you can. Ignore the text on unrevealed sides of Arkham Asylum locations. No objective. If the investigators have performed 4 of the following, you must advance. We have set a fire in the kitchen. We have incited a fight. We've recalled the way out, but we haven't released a dangerous patient, distracted the guards, or found out the guards' patrols. So we need to do one more. I'm going to set it on the act then. Also, if the agenda advances, we lose. So probably don't want to attach it to the agenda. I'm going to go first with Lily because Lily's turn is very straightforward. I think I forgot to pay a clue to get into that room. It's not going to matter, but just in case it does. Anyway, Lily's turn is very straightforward. I'm going to swing at this thing until it is dead at 10 to 4. That is 3 more damage. I believe it has 1 hit left. Yeah, that's 6 of 8. Cool, it's dead. Get out of here. Thank God I picked up the black class, so I'll walk back to the middle. As Jenny, I'll pay a clue to go into this one. And 5 Shroud, 1 clue, tests 2 fists to release the patient here from his bonds. If you succeed, he howls like a wolf and tears off to the basement. Remember that you released a dangerous patient. Jenny's base fist should be pretty good right now. It's 5 because of Gias and Black Fan. So I'll do that. 0. Cool. We immediately advance. Get out of here, Sign of Hastur. An orderly scream echoes across the hall. Within moments, an alarm rings loudly throughout the institution. Nurses and guards rush through the asylum in a desperate attempt to control the situation. You feel dazed and your vision is spotty, as though you've been struck by something heavy. The walls blur together and twist. Creatures begin to emerge out of the crevices and corners that did not exist moments before. Shuffle the encounter discard pile and each enemy beneath the act deck into the encounter deck. If at least 3 monster enemies were shuffled into the encounter deck by this effect, that will not be happening. Oh, actually, there might be, depending on what's in the discard pile. Anyway, the investigator with the lowest head would discard cards on the top of the encounter deck until a monster enemy is discarded and draws that enemy. Well, there's only 2 cards over here and nothing beneath the act deck, so that does nothing. Final act. No asylum. All hell has broken loose. The garden's gains action. If there is no enemy in the garden, resign. Finally, a way out. And we just want to resign. We want to get out of here. Lily's already taken her turn, though, and she's much slower. I'm going to spend 2 actions and a clue to move back to the main room and down to this one. It's not going to have victory, but I'm going to check. Didn't think so. And I'm going to head back up. I'm going to assume there's not like some bonus for testing all of these things. I'll quickly check that. It's not my first time through the campaign, so I just want to know what the answer is. Yeah, there's no benefit to making these tests after you've done 4 of them. So, oh, I just forgot Jenny had this. Where did I start my turn even? Was it in the middle room? Probably. Let's go ahead and use our well-connected to evade that man as our first action. Cool. As long as I don't move back in the middle room, that's a close enough fix for me. And I'll tap Green Man for 3 resources and half an experience. Upkeep phase. Lily gets the Maniac. They both take a damage. Brother Xavier's now taking the maximum soak possible. He's doing his job well. On our upkeeps, we're going to discard the second Holy Rosary. Top of the round, 4 of 8 Doom, and encounter cards. I've got a different one now. I can't attack lunatic enemies, so that's fine. I'll just evade them. And over here, I'm just going to take one direct horror. Can't really do anything about that. I'm not going to stop to play cards. I have things to do. First action, I'm going to kill this man by swinging at 1,000,000 to, what is it, 3? Yeah, get out of here. I think I'm just going to move twice and take the 1/1. Like, I'm not really scared of it. Yeah, I'm just going to move twice. And I'll let this thing go off and take 1/1 damage. Now on Ginny's end, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 times to catch up to Lily. I'm going to tap this thing for 3 experience, or 3 resources and half an experience, rather. Since nothing in the agenda deck gives me any real risk, I can get 1 more experience out of this easily enough. And rather than staying next to Lily, I'm going to move twice more to start going to the Guardians and seeing if this is worth victory points. It is not. I just have to get the clues to leave. Alright, Upkeep Phase. No enemies. Gonna go ahead and toss Faustian Bargain. And Intel Reports. Actually, I'll keep Intel Report over Burning the Midnight Oil. And over here, I'm going to toss this Azure Flame. No, I don't need to because I drew my weakness. And I'll just take the Horror on Tetsuya. A weakness that just says take 1 Horror is so insanely soft. Well, it's 1 Horror and 1 damage, so I've been playing it wrong. But that's still not that bad. Especially when you can run these sorts of allies. So, for Ginny's turn, I'm going to investigate this at 1,000,000. I think it's 7. Yeah, 7 to 3. I got 1, got 2. We are now able to resign. Going to tap this for 3. And I don't really care about anything at this point. I'm just going to gain 3 resources. Lily's going to walk up and resign. She doesn't need to be here anymore. Top of the round, nothing matters. I draw 1 encounter card. Cool, I'll discard, what's the Shroud value? These 2 cards. Get out of here. I'm going to tick this up. I didn't even do the Upkeep Phase, and I'm going to resign. But the Upkeep Phase was sort of unnecessary to winning, because that was all this was. It's just getting 1 more experience. Alright, let's see what a resolution is. If you took keys by force, I did not. Otherwise, read the following. The guards are too busy controlling the situation and restraining the asylum's patients to notice your escape. Resolution 3. And this time I need to make sure to actually add the black class with Ginny's deck. With the asylum staff distracted and patients running amok, you're able to slip away without being noticed. You escape deeper into the garden behind the asylum, where a 2-story tall fence topped with barbed wire is all that separates you from the outside world. You have little time and need to make it far away from the asylum before the guards return and spot you. Using a straitjacket you found inside to cover the barbed wire, you scale the fence quickly, breaking into a run as you make it to the other side. So, we record that the investigators escaped the asylum. We get Victory X, which is... There was victory on this location? I just didn't notice that. Considering I left with 2 Doom left and I was intentionally sandbagging, I'm going to count that one. Like, how many times do I have to fail this 7 to 4 check before I get to say I would have passed, right? Like, it's just, I just wasn't reading. I was thinking of all these locations and being bad. 2, 3, 4 victory. I kind of like the pacing curve of getting a load of experience in the early scenarios and then like leveling out so that you get to upgrade a lot of stuff early and then it's sort of more reasonable. So 4 experience in the victory display. 5 with Delve token. Constance is already dead, and we add squids to the bag now. But there's an interlude, so we're not quite done yet. Daniel did not survive, and we're going to choose to heed the warning. We proceed to heeding the warning. And so we record that you heeded Daniel's warning. And I'm sure there was probably a warning in that garbled mess that he told us moments before his death. I'm going to mark 2 conviction for heeding the warning. Each investigator earns 1 additional experience as they gain insights into the machinations of the Tattered King. And for the remainder of the campaign, anytime an investigator speaks the name of Hastur aloud during a scenario, or during the setup of a scenario, that investigator must immediately take 1 horror. Proceed to scenario 5. Anyway, that's it for now. I've been rather incoherent, and I hope you're enjoying the series despite my myriad of gameplay mistakes. I think it's mostly that I'm recording, because my day-to-day and muscle reflex style of gameplay is all more or less fine, but it's the little things, hidden cards, adding curse tokens, events that don't trigger very often in your threat area. All of that's really catching me off because I'm, like, in terms of my processing power, a lot goes to the game, a lot goes to recording and commentating, and this stuff just gets left in the dust. I imagine that's a thing I'll get better at over time, and thank you for bearing with me. If you're enjoying the series in spite of all that, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.